break yesterday. So
Okay. I don't know why I can't share my screen.
you see anywhere a share screen button or a participant.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you just hit that share screen and
Okay.
so we are continuing tomorrow also, right? So this is a weekend, but I would like that if we can connect again.
Yeah, we can connect again.
Yeah, good. So
Okay. So go
maybe you
to
can, yeah, log in. Yeah. Rijvi, if you can also log into your portal by the time.
I know my computer is maybe slow. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, Rijvi, I hope you also logged in by any chance. Okay. So let's just quickly go to our org. So click your username there, and you have a drop down
What?
on a top, on a very top. You have your username, yeah, and you have a drop down, and go to my organization first. So we are revisiting the yesterday what
Okay.
we understand, so that it should be. I think you have a McAfee in your browser. That is the reason why it's getting slow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
McAfee. Okay. Let me see. All right. I'm just gonna go to the.
So maybe tomorrow we will do some cleanup to your laptop. Okay.
I know, right?
Because generally what this McAfee does that whenever you try to use any URL, it will first check.
Okay.
Give me the control for a moment.
Okay.
This is a McAfee.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Got that, no? So because of that, you look at that. It's already done 246 pages scanned. So every time
Okay.
when you open an URL, it will go and maybe you can define that which of the website do you want to open, or okay. So in a whitelist, you can probably type this URL, which is a AWS. So any URL which is going to, so this will be a whitelisted then, okay?
Okay.
But I think that I need a, you do not have a permission here, maybe.
Okay.
Okay, anyhow, so this is the problem area which I am able to see.
Okay.
Okay, no worry. So if we all remember, yesterday we seen that this is our org account, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then when you click the organize account, you can go ahead and create a organizational unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct now. So through which you can go ahead and uh, implement some kind of policies. So policies we have not touched yesterday, but this is the place through which people can define the policies.
Okay.
Okay. So currently none of the policies we have defined, but this is how you do that. You first set up your organization account, then we create a different departments or a location, whatever you want as an organization unit. Then on top of that, you can go ahead and implement the policies.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the first basics things you have to remember when you are going to talk about AWS to anyone or any cloud for that matter. You have to say that first you have to set up the organization account. Then we are going to organize our resources in an organizational unit, and then on that we implement different policies.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the first thing which we did yesterday. And then we also create an IAM role, right? Where we have a user, where we have a group, and then we implement a role. So we went to the IAM and we click here, and then we go ahead and create a groups and a user, right? So yesterday we created a group like an admin and a help desk, and then we create a user, and then on that user we defined a different kind of a roles, right? So what this user is going to do that, correct? And then we also see the access analyzer yesterday, right? So the access analyzer will go you and tell you that who has done what, correct? Right? So and then you can also go and define your download your credential report, right? How many user you have, what's the permission you have, right? When this user created. So this is what we did yesterday. Today we are going to understand that being an organization, since you are using a cloud account, how this cloud account you can manage so that you should not be overcharged. Okay, from the billing point of view, right? So how we will do that? Once again, go and click your account, your username. Once again, yeah, and you get a billing dashboard now. So it's always a good idea that in maybe every 2 days or 3 days, you check what the billing you occurred. So currently it is saying that you have a $0, no amount has been used. But I believe that in a very first class with Shruti, you have created a virtual machine, right? EC2.
Yeah, we created it, we deleted it.
Yeah, and scroll down and you will see that in the report, you see you have already utilized 1.47% of this virtual machine.
Okay.
Okay. So still you have a lot of things to be balanced, you can use, but you can always check the utilization here,
Okay.
right? Rijvi, you also follow the same thing?
Yes, I go through because I had a call. So
Oh,
I
okay.
just keep this one. So I'll go through once I get the recording.
No, just click your user account and you get a billing dashboard. Just click your user account. Berlin, can you click the user account one more time, please?
Yeah.
And then you get the billing dashboard. This is the billing dashboard.
So
Okay.
I log into the instance and
Uh,
EC2 and instance. So how do I go to the user account?
you have to go to services.
Okay.
So you already open a portal.
Yes.
So you see your username on a very top, like I'm seeing the
Okay.
file name.
Yeah. And the
Okay. So,
organization?
no, below that, you have a fourth option called billing dashboard.
Billing dashboard. Okay.
Okay. So it's always a good idea that every 3 days or 4 days you check what's your billing is.
Sure.
Okay. So I believe that if you check it, you will see a $0 because
Yeah.
you have not consumed much, right? Right. But if you scroll down more below, you will see that your virtual machine, that is a EC2, right?
Okay.
You must have a some utilization because this is the one thing which you have configured.
Yeah.
Yeah, some 1.4% or maybe 2%, right?
Yeah. 1.47. Yeah.
Correct. So every generally when you are working in a company and when you have an AWS account, this is how the administrator will generally come every weeks and check that what's the billing they have, because every organization have a budget, right? So for an IT spending, they also have a budget. So you as an admin or someone who is managing that AWS, they have the responsibility to keep the budget in check, right? Otherwise, if you go and exceed the budget, it will be a problem for a company itself, right? Correct. So how we will go that? We will go and check that billing dashboard, right? Now you see a cost explorer. Click that one. So
Where is it?
in a menu side, this side, see Berlin is showing.
Hold on.
You see a menu on the left side. You have a home button. You have a cost management.
Okay. So what I do because I'll wait until everything is see and then shall I go do? Shall I after that
Please,
go?
no worry.
Yeah.
So it might be repeat for both of you.
Yeah,
Okay?
because the thing is, we using, maybe you using like one screen like me. I
Right.
think
Okay. No worry. So
you
it's
can
a good
screen.
idea that you maybe also get something which is it's a one more time, right? So that it will come in mind. Okay, that's fantastic. So we have a something which is called as a cost explorer. Cost
Yes.
explorer will give you more detail about your how your costing has been going on, which all resources is consuming what. So just click launch cost explorer.
So it's better to do it with me and then quickly do it
Yeah,
with me, then
yeah,
go.
exactly. Right. So
It doesn't hurt to repeat, you know.
yeah, exactly. So here you can see that you can not only see the current, you can also see that if you keep spending in this way, what would be your forecast, right? You have a top in a forecast. Right now, one is a current monthly spend and next tab is a forecast tab, right? So in a
Okay.
forecast, it will also say you that if you continue using in this way, then end of the month, this is what expected bill you maybe get.
Okay.
Okay. And in the it will also show you the trend that which of the resources is exactly consuming more money. It's a EC2, it's a database, it's a network, which one is consuming more money, right? Correct. So cost explorer is a something where you will get a real-time data, your forecast data, or your projected data about the costing. Okay. Now go back to your main console. Close this one. No. Again, you have already in a open tab one, in a tab one, in a browser tab one.
Okay. That one. Yeah.
Exactly. Great. Now it's always a good idea that, let's say for an example, you are working on a cloud and you have a budget of, let's say, $10,000 for your business unit, or might be for your spending on AWS, right? But you always want that whenever I try to overshoot this budget, I should get notified at least, right? Right? I should get alerted that, hey, you have consumed your budget now. So you see that in a menu side, you get something called a budget. On a menu side, just come, you will see a budget on the top, the third number. The third number. Yeah, exactly. Click that one. Now, it's always a good idea that you keep a budget, create a budget for you, and this budget you can use to limit yourself. By mistake, you should not over consume the services. So, right? So just click create a budget. So what type of budget do you want to create? A usage budget or a cost budget, right? So I say that I want to create a cost budget. So go ahead and set your budget. Here you can say that this is my monthly AWS budget. Now you have a period which you can select. For an example, you can select monthly, you can select quarterly, you can select annually. So let's say I select annually. So change it to annually. But in a company scenario, generally we take quarterly, right?
Yeah,
So
quarterly, yes.
okay. And then on a budget effective date, I said that it's going to be a recurring budget, right? So which has started in a year 2020. Scroll down, and I say that this is going to be a fixed. So for a safer side, let's keep it for an example, $200. Okay. So anyhow, this is a $200, which is a budget allocated to you, and you have to use this budget in such a manner that whenever you try to overshoot this, you will stopped by AWS to create any new services.
Okay.
Okay. So just scroll it down. Scroll it down and then say that how I want to see my budget. So I will go with that. Any budget which is going to be unblended. Unblended means which have not been consumed so far, right? But you have all the other options. So I will leave it default and I will say that configure the threshold.
Okay.
So click next, which is a configure threshold. Right now go up and you see that whenever I consume, let's say 90% of my budget. So 90% of your budget means if you go near around $180, right? So you must get a notification. So
Okay.
Scroll down and type your email address. So in a company scenario, it should be the address on which it will send an email. So it can be a finance head email address. It can be a IT head email address. So just type your email address.
Okay.
So you can include 3-5 email address if you want, right? Correct? Okay. So I will leave it one and I will go to a confirm budget. All good. So you create. So now whenever you are reaching $180, so you will get immediately a notification. Once you reach $200, AWS will not let you create any services.
Okay.
Correct?
Correct.
So when we are working with the AWS or any cloud for that matter, this is the common feature. So even if you do not know Google, if you do not know Azure, you can still tell with the confidence that, hey, in Azure, we will go and set up my budget. In Google also, we will go and set up my budget because this is a common feature everywhere.
Okay.
Okay. So once you have set your budget, you can rest assured that by mistake, I cannot be overcharged. Otherwise, you know that many times people will get unexpected bill right now. and then they say that, hey, AWS is very costly, AWS is this, AWS, but it's not a fault of AWS, right? It's just like an electricity. The more you consume, the more you have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Correct, huh? Right? So how will you go and manage your budget? You have an option. You will go to the Cost Explorer in a billing dashboard, and you can see that how you are going to be consume your money, what is the current trend you have, and how much you expect that the bills will become by the AWS itself.
Mm-hmm.
Correct, right? And then you have a payment method. Just scroll down, come below. Yeah. So in a payment method, it will now ask you that how you want to make a payment. So if you are a company, generally you do not need a credit card. In a company, they will send you the invoice.
Okay.
Okay. So that you do not have to do anything here. It is just like a the more you consume, the more you will get the invoice end of the month, end of the year. It's all depending upon what is your contract period. Okay.
Okay.
But for the personal account, they will ask you that you have to punch your credit card information.
Okay.
Okay. So one is a payment method. So in a company, it's an invoice based payment method. While for a personal account, it will be a credit card based payment method. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So by any chance, if you think that maybe if you get overcharged by mistake, if you are not aware, then you can come here and just remove this card from here. So in
Okay.
this case, AWS will only send you the reminder, but they will not automatically deduct the money from here.
Okay.
Okay.
All
All
right.
clear, right? So it means that any of the provider when you are working, you have a similar method, you have a similar thing. Now I am going to demonstrate you that if you are working on a Azure portal, how will you go and do the same thing? As I promised you that I will give you the comparative study always. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm going to log into my your antivirus is again scanning.
Oh, is that on my computer or yours?
So this is a new laptop, Berlin.
No, that is an old laptop. I have this laptop since 2017.
Oh, okay, okay. Maybe this McAfee get installed recently, and that's why it's.
Yeah, they're asking me if I need to shut down. I can restart the computer.
Oh, okay, okay.
I didn't just want to restart it.
Mhm. So maybe in a. I'm not sure.
You can close this.
Uh,
Just close this.
Try open that another Google account.
You said Google?
I have opened that one. If you try open that one, because I'm not able to minimize this screen, this browser.
Like that?
I think I am not able to see.
Oh, you can't see? Okay, okay.
I'm still seeing only the AWS one.
Good?
Not here. It's AWS. I'm able to see only AWS. So I have opened one more browser.
Maybe I close it.
Yeah, I'm not able to close this down also.
What about this one?
Okay, no worries. So then we do one thing. We can now probably switch to resume one to repeat this one. Okay. So if you can, let's see if you can able to stop your sharing.
Okay.
Yeah. So resume, you can share your screen now. Yeah, perfect. So you can exactly. Yeah, so I think that you have the same thing. You have 1.47% that is utilization. So you still have a lot of you can say money which you can spend. Generally, it give you $200 credit. Okay, so if you can scroll up a little bit, scroll up, go up, go up, go up. Second thing is that you have to go and click the cost explorer on a menu side on the left side. Yeah, you have a yes. So when you click the cost explorer, click launch cost explorer. So it will open a new browser for you. And in this browser, you able to see the complete split of your billing in a current month. You can also see the forecast, right? So forecast will also give you that if I keep spending in such a way that what would be my expected bill in the end of the month. Then it will also see you the trend, which of the resource is consuming you more money. So that you can probably check that why this resources is consuming so much money. Next thing is that you have to go and define your budget. So click the budget, and it's always a good idea that you set a budget. So every company have created a multiple type of budgets, and that budget help them so that by mistake you should not do an overspending. So go ahead and click create a budget. Now this side you have a blue button. Yeah, exactly. Click that one, and you have a multiple type of budget. So I am going with the cost budget here. Give it a name, maybe yearly, or maybe your company, you yourself is a company, so you can say that it's a resume yearly budget. Budget. And in a period, select a whole year. So it should be yearly. or maybe annually. Yeah, exactly. And you say that now this is going to be a recurring budget. Recurring budget means every year it will reset to 0 and then again start monitoring it. Okay, so just scroll down, and next is that it's going to be a fixed budget for you. So give him a budget amount $200, which is a free credit, right? So $200 is what is the limit you set yourself, so that by mistake you should not go beyond that. It means that if you try to overspend, it will automatically give you an alert. Now go ahead and say next, and say configure threshold. And here you can define that. For example, if the moment I reach my allocated budget of 90%, so the moment you spend $180, it will start sending one alert, right? So you can just click that 90% in a threshold. Just type 90%. Exactly. And then you can go ahead and set up your notification on which email ID it will send you an alert. So you can send type your email ID. In a scenario of a company, it should be a CFO email ID and IT manager email ID, right? And just go ahead and say confirm the budget. So now you have created a budget. Likewise, that you can create the budget for every department, every country. So just click create, hit create. So you are safe now. The moment you reach this $200 mark, AWS will not let you create any services. So until and unless you do not revise the budget. So this is the way you can go ahead and see that how I can go and use my AWS more sensibly. So I am also going to show you that if you have to use, because this is the similar things available in either Google Cloud or everywhere. So I will try to show that is a portal.azure.com and in here. Good. And I'm just typing my account. So you will now if I go there, you again see here cost management, right? So Azure also have their cost management. Google also have their cost management, and you have a similar feature where I can go and define, for an example, this is the bill amount I already get, right? Correct. So this is already the bill which I have generated. When I go to my cost management, it will show me that how much bill I have occurred. So I can go by the department wise. So I have my department in a USA. I have my different departments. So we can go ahead and define that in which department I have consumed more budget, and then where I have consumed more budget. So I can select all this and it will show me that your USA unit has consumed so much of money, right? So this much of money has been coming to me. Only Azure has a better graphics. Otherwise, AWS is also give you same data, but it is more graphical representation here. Second, you see that I also have a budget here, right? Correct. So similar fashion, I can go ahead and add my budget. I can define my money, whether I want monthly, whether I want a yearly, right? So quarterly, the similar fashion, I can go and define that how much amount I am going to be consumed. And then when I go next, it will ask me to send me the email alert, right? So all this feature is common in a cloud, no matter which cloud you are. Correct? Right? So this is the way you work on a cloud subscription. You have to control your budget. You have to define your administrative responsibility very clearly. Who is handling which department, who is handling which country, who is handling which of your sub organization. And then you also define that how you can go and control your budget. So it means that when you say someone that you have an experience, people will expect that you being a cloud consultant, I know that you are a master in AWS, but at the same time you also must have an idea about that. If there is no AWS, and if I am also using Azure, and if I am also using Google for that matter, at least you can suggest me that how I can go and do all this stuff there. Yes, it might be possible that you are not aware about the menu option and the configuration option, but at least from a basic point of view, you must tell me that yes, in AWS also you can set your budget, in Google also you can set your budget, in AWS you can set your who can log in where, in Azure also you can do the same thing, right? So for an example, if we try to repeat the same thing about yesterday, I also have a similar thing here. I have a users, right? And then I have a groups. Are you able to see that? And then I have a roles. Correct now? So I have a user from where I can go and create my user here, right? Then these are the users which is already I have. And then I can also go and define that how many groups we have, right? So we also have a lot of groups here, correct? And then we can also go and define what my roles and responsibility is. And same way that I have administrative units. Right, Berlin and Rizmi, right? Correct now? So it means that when you are working on a cloud, these are the fundamentals and you must know the fundamentals, correct? I'm not expecting, no company is expecting that you are a master in all cloud, but definitely they understand that when you say that you have experience, you must understand that how we are go and use our cloud before we go and create any services. Correct now? Because creating a services is a pure technical job, and that if I give you a steps, you can go and perform, right? But these things you will never come to know until unless you have an experience.
Okay.
Right now, because if you working, then only you understand that hey, bills come, right? If you do not work on that, you will never know that the bills is come, how we can go and see my bills, how I can go and set my budgets. Correct?
Correct.
Right? So basically I try to prepare you both guys so that end of the course, as I promised that when you finished your course, you can go at stand up anywhere and you can say that hey, you actually know the cloud in more detail in a practical manner, not in the syllabus manner.
That's true.
Correct now, right? So what we understand so far now, we have understand that when we have to set up an account in cloud, first we have set up organization account, then we set up the administrative user, then we set up the group, then we set up the administrative units, then we set up the budgets.
Yes.
Once this all set, then you can hire any administrator and you can say that boss, now you can go ahead and work. Correct?
Okay.
Create this server, create that server, because everything you have already set it now. So the administrator is only responsible to create the virtual machine, create the storage, create that database, right? But they have a very little idea about that, how they are exactly get monitored and controlled. Right? Sometimes administrator will say that, hey, I'm not able to create any virtual machine. Then you know that, hey, you have already crossed the budget. That is the reason why you are not able to create the virtual machine. right? And then you try and investigate that why the budget has been crossed, what the extra unessential things has been created, who created, on which approval it is created, correct?
Right.
Right? Huh? So so far what we try understand that if I have to set up a very new account in cloud, what should be the right and correct process? Okay. Now we will continue this as a more technical now. So we will go ahead and now we are trying to understand that if I have to set up a services. So we have a wide variety of services when we are working on AWS. So if you see that when you go to your services, now these are the long services list, correct? And you say that what do you want to create? Everything I have used few of them. For example, I have used IAM, right? But apart from that, I have a lot of things which we can go and create in the AWS, right? Less like that. You guys are from a development, so you have a development lot of tools available there. So all these services now we try explore grow by grow, and then we also understand that in which manner you will go and create these services. Because when you are working in a company, you cannot go and create the server or database or a storage just like that. You must have a clear-cut process where you get a request from the user. On the basis of the user request, you get a approval, and once the approval done, then only you go and create the services. Correct, huh? Because in a cloud, you cannot go and create a services. The moment you create a services, your billing will start. That is the problem.
Okay.
Correct, huh? Right? So tomorrow we continue, Rijmi and Berlin, and hope so that I request Berlin that if you can probably remove this McAfee from your laptop.
Okay.
Right now, and if you have any difficulties, maybe we can sit tomorrow for half an hour to clean up things from your laptop as well.
Okay.
Okay, so there are a lot of setting you can make in your local laptop so that your laptop will remains fast.
Okay.
Correct, now? So this is the way you can also maybe clean up all your laptop which is with you at home. So we will do some kind of a sort of configuration in your laptop so that you will get laptop fast. Remove all the unnecessary packages or whatever the tools you installed, because if your laptop is handled by the kids, they are not aware anything is pop up, they just click, right?
Yes.
Correct, now? And because of that, something get installed in their your laptop.
I know.
So this is a very common things which we will see there, right? So again at the same time tomorrow or what?
Yes. 8, right? With me? 8 or 8:30? With me?
Is me there? I think that I lost his voice. So anyhow, tomorrow maybe we can again have an SMS. So it can be 8 or 8:30. But tomorrow we will sit for a long time because it's a weekend.
Okay.
Okay.
Tomorrow is Friday.
For you it's a Friday. Okay. Okay. Then we will in my Sunday we will sit for a long time. Okay.
Okay. It's all right. Even tomorrow we can have it for a long time.
Oh, okay. Okay. Great. 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 Yeah, Rijmi?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was unmuted, so because
we were worried.
I don't have any control, so I wait for you guys.
Okay, so we were discussing that tomorrow we will spend some half an hour first to clean up your local laptop. Okay. So
Yeah.
that tricks also you will learn that if you have anything which is a end user point of view, because laptop is exactly an end user device, right?
That's right.
Correct. Now, sometimes you will also get an escalation in a company that, hey, AWS is running very slow. Hey, AWS is not running slow. It's because your laptop is running slow. Correct. So you as a
So,
probably a consultant, you have to also understand that how the end user devices can also impact the experience and the speed and performance of the cloud.
so,
Correct?
tell me a little bit. I want to have a case study from you. So let's say I'm a cloud expert and you're a customer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what can you actually ask me, knowing that I'm a cloud expert, what can you ask me to do for you?
No, for an example, you are, let's see, I am a user, I am a layman, right? I do not have any
Uh-huh.
technical understanding. So
Okay.
for me, when I try to access a services from your cloud, I feel that it's a very slow. So definitely I will come back to you and say that, my dear friend, AWS is not a good service. It's a very slow. Okay.
Mhm.
Now you as a consultant, you have to defend yourself and you have to tell that AWS is a very fast, but it's because you as a user, your end devices is having a problem, and because of that your experiences go bad. Remember, Rizmi and Berlin both, end user experience matter a lot, no matter how good you are in your services. If I as a user, if I give an escalation to you, and if the multiple escalation come, then management will start deciding that because of this cloud, my user is not able, feeling comfortable, and because of that their performance, they are getting affected. So sometimes they revert back, they say that I don't want AWS at all. Correct now? See, if anything which is stopping my users to increase the productivity, then it's no point of using the same thing in a company. Correct now? Right? So this is the reason why when you become actually a true consultant, you must understand all the aspects. I'm not saying that you become master. Correct now? Right? So there are many things which impact your performance, your experience, and end of the day, who, whatever the server, whatever the storage, whatever the database you created, who is using that? It's a user end of the day, right now.
Mhm.
So if I as a user, if I am not happy and satisfied, then there is no point of having a AWS or Azure or Google like a services running in your company.
Mhm.
Correct?
Right.
Right now, you know that we have so many tools available. We have a WebEx, we have a Microsoft Teams, we have another services, but we all like Zoom. Correct? Because we find that Zoom, where the speed is very good, where it's an easy interface, so anyone can click here and there and they can share their screen, they can do some kind of a thing, they can chatting, right? But if
Mhm.
you go for a Webex and other kind of a tool, you will face really a difficulties because that is too complex to handle by the user.
Mhm.
Correct, no? Right? So because of all these reasons, Webex is such a good tool, such a fantastic tool, but it is not adopted widely by the most of the user.
Okay.
Correct, no? So adaptability is again your responsibility because you are handling that service. You cannot say that my AWS is running fine. That's fantastic. You are a technical guy, you are a champion, so you say that it's running fine. But for me as an end user, I am not satisfied.
Okay.
It impacting my performance. Correct?
Right.
Right? How can I go to my management and tell that, hey, sir, I have done this job. You increase my salary. Correct now.
Right.
Then your boss will say that you did not do this thing, right? Then you can start blaming that it's that because of the AWS is very slow, and whenever I try to do this, it's very slow, right? Correct. Then actually you are not only managing that services, who is using that services, that experience also matter. Correct.
Mhm.
Right now, that is the reason why WhatsApp is become so popular. It's just so easy that even kids will understand that, right?
Okay.
Correct, huh? But if you make it so complex, then the adaptability will be impacted very high. Correct.
Right.
Correct, huh? So you as a consultant, tomorrow it's out of the way again. It's not a part of the syllabus, but I want that you must understand that when end user experience is getting impacted, how you can at least advise them. I'm not saying that you go and involved. Correct now. For example, if I am not, if I am not a true consultant, then what your experience will be. Because the moment I see that your browser is running slow, I understand that it's because of the antivirus.
Yeah.
Just because I have experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if I do not have an experience?
No.
Correct? Now, then you also frustrate, I also frustrate.
Yeah.
Correct? You say that, yeah, AWS is a bad service.
Yeah.
Correct? So this is very important. So it means that if I am a consultant, at least I can suggest you. I am not going to say that I am going to involve with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can suggest you, hey, my friend, this is the problem probably have. You might have a problem in your company router. You have an old switch,
Mm-hmm.
correct? And because of that, you are able to see this problem. Correct, no? Right? Might be your Windows is not updated, and because of that, this particular service is not running correctly.
So, and on AWS, why did they say that we need to have like a Python experience or Java experience?
AWS or any cloud does not ask you to be experienced in any of the language. They only require that because now you understand that world is moving towards the automation. Correct?
Okay.
For an example, if I want to automate the process, how I can automate, I must use some kind of a out of the box language, which is a scripting language. Correct? So it means if I want that some kind of an automation should come into the picture. For example, let's say I give you a scenario where you have to create 100 server. Each server must have a same configuration. Then what will you do? You are running the wizard 100 times, because if you start running wizard 100 times, it will take complete day.
Yeah.
One way is that you have a script, just click the script and it will create 100 server with the same configuration. So it is automation now, correct? So many company who is having a lot of services running in their cloud, they do not want that people should spend a manual efforts. Still, you can do the same thing with the manual efforts, but the manual efforts not only take a time, the chance of making a mistake is also high.
Okay.
Correct? So better that you make it automated, you make it in a scripting way. So if you have a scripting knowledge, you can do that. This is what the expectation the cloud provider, any company now has.
Okay.
Otherwise, without scripting, so far we have done so many things without any scripting. We have not touched any language, right?
Yes.
Correct. Huh? You can still do the same way. But in a company where the speed is very much important, because see, if I have to launch some services, I want it to be done in very fast manner, right? And you say that, hey, I require 3 days. Correct, no? Right? That is the reason why company go for an automation. Another reason why company go for an automation is that, let's say for an example, if I hire you, Rizmi or Berlin, you might cost me, let's say $150 per hour. Your cost is very high for me, right? So what I'm going to do that I will hire you. I will ask you to develop a script for me. You develop all script, all automation. Now I will hire another person who is a cheaper for me, maybe a $50 per hour, right? And ask this person, if you have to create something, just click this one, right? Correct, huh? So that person, you just go and click that script and it will create everything for you. Correct? Right? So that is the reason why when someone build a team, in a team, one is a very highly experienced person. Rest all is a just like a normal you can say a person who has a basic understanding, right? But they perform every task because they do not have to apply their brain at all.
Yes.
Correct, now just click that, you done. What they are doing, what is happening, they have no clue, right? So that is the reason why nowadays company also mandate that if you have an understanding of the of the language, it's a good for us.
Okay.
They are not expecting you are a developer, because see,
Okay.
development is totally a different world, right?
Yes.
Right now, but you should at least understand the language concept. So when you understand the language concept, it means that if you have to make a little bit changes, at least you can do it yourself by doing some Google or some help, right?
Okay.
They
So
do not expect that you develop anything for you. For
are we
that,
gonna learn?
yeah.
Are we gonna learn anything from any system like Jenkins, Puppet, and stuff like that?
Yeah. So we will use the different kind of an automation tool. For example, we will start with the Git. Okay. Then we will go with the Jenkins. Then we understand the Ansible. Then we understand the Terraform. Okay.
Okay.
A little bit of Docker and Kubernetes.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Correct.
All right.
Okay. So this is how you have to, because see, end of the day, you have to go to the market and you have to tell that you are a complete guy, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So when you are going to say complete guy, you cannot say that I don't know this, I don't know. I'm not, once again, let me reiterate. I'm not saying you go to master everything, because to master everything, it required another year.
Yeah.
Right. But at least you can answer. You can suggest me. You can at least involve into the process. Correct, no?
That's
Okay.
Right. So that is the reason. So tomorrow we will sit for half an hour, and we will
Okay.
see that if you have to make your end user experience better, what are sort you can probably suggest or do with their end devices.
okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay. So just have a good night, sound sleep.
Yeah.
Tomorrow just ping me if you have anything.
All right. Thank you, Bipin. Thank you very much. Yeah, wonderful day.
Bye.
So tomorrow, with me at the same time.
Yeah, 8 o'clock will be fine, isn't it? Not too late and not
Okay.
too early. I don't know. Bipin, are you okay? I think it's for you
I am
too early. 7
perfect. Okay,
o'clock.
sir. I am perfect.
Fine. Okay, that's okay. Then we'll start 8 o'clock. Okay, Berlin.
All right.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Okay.
Good
See
night.
you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.